Angie, and you're watching Dontaesboxingnation.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former IBF Junior Middleweight World Champion and the current hard-hitting, undefeated, reigning and defending WBC Middleweight Champion of the World, introducing Jamal Hitman Charlo.
I think that fight will happen in the future. Canelo will fight anyway. He's you know, we have our plan. We know what we want to do. I think Canelo and Charlo will be a terrific fight in the future.
And Oscar, how's Canelo against the likes of Jacobs, Andre, and Charlo? How's he going to beat these 6-foot athletic middleweights when Canelo's 5'9"? You know,
we'll see when he fights them. I mean, and mark my words, he will fight them. I mean, Canelo wants to be great. He wants to be great. So in order to be great, you have to fight the likes of the Jacobs, the Charlos. Everybody depends for that.
Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So you guys probably already recall I made a video reporting what Oscar De La Hoya said about Canelo Alvarez avoiding Charlo, and Canelo actually clapped back. He responded to Oscar De La Hoya. Once again, Oscar De La Hoya, he said, please, this guy does everything wrong. Head up when he throws hooks. On his heels, flat-footed. What else? Oh, he avoids Charlo. So Canelo, he claps back and he says, Oscar, oh really? You want me to talk? Fucking traitor. Then he says, do me a favor and go fuck yourself. Now you guys may recall, when I made my video and I reported what Oscar De La Hoya said, I read one of the comments right below the post. And it was a Canelo Alvarez fan. The first thing he said is, this man has no loyalty. He was talking about Oscar De La Hoya. And what did I tell you guys? I told you, these fans, they tell on themselves all the time. Because this fan, he was telling you, it's never been about the truth. It has always been about loyalty. It doesn't matter if Canelo Alvarez is dead wrong. You're supposed to remain loyal to Canelo Alvarez, right? Now notice, Canelo Alvarez pretty much did the same thing. He called Oscar De La Hoya a traitor. But you know what really stood out the most when I read what Canelo Alvarez said? I noticed he never denied the fact that he is avoiding Charlo. He could have came back and said, what are you talking about, Oscar? We wanted to fight against Charlo. You wouldn't let me. Or we tried to fight him and Charlo turned the fight down. You notice Canelo, he didn't say that, right? I mean, imagine if someone made a false accusation against you, right? I mean, where it puts you in a negative light. It makes you look bad. Imagine if somebody says something like, oh, so-and-so is gay, man. I mean, like really gay. Going out with men and doing all the things that gay men do with men, right? Imagine if someone said that about you and you found out. Is your only response gonna be, oh man, you're a traitor. Go fuck yourself. That ain't gonna be your response if the accusations are not true, right? When Canelo Alvarez calls Oscar De La Hoya a traitor, he is basically telling people that Oscar De La Hoya is a snitch. He's calling Oscar a snitch. How could you air me out like that? This is something we're supposed to keep between each other. We're both Mexican. You're supposed to be loyal to the race, right? And listen, let me go ahead and just completely debunk these talking points that these Canelo Alvarez fans are desperately trying to use to defend Canelo by saying, hey man, well remember when Oscar De La Hoya said that they offered him a fight and he turned down the fight. First of all, let me just say this. For the longest, you guys have always heard me say on this channel, Oscar De La Hoya, deep down, wants Canelo Alvarez to fight Jamal Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, and Gennady Golovkin. I have always said that. At the end of the day, it didn't really matter if Oscar De La Hoya agreed with the facts or not, because the facts don't change, okay? The facts are not interchangeable. way before Charlo became Canelo's mandatory at 160, did you guys know that both Charlo brothers was calling out Canelo at 154 when both Charlo brothers were champions and Canelo didn't have a belt? Yeah, Andrade, the Charlo brothers, they were all calling out Canelo Alvarez. So why didn't he fight them then? Right? That's just one point right there. Now let's go ahead and talk about what Oscar De La Hoya said, that we offered him a fight. Or let's talk about what Jermell Charlo said previously, where he said his brother had ducked Canelo Alvarez. One simple question, and I'm gonna keep asking you guys this. If the mandatory turned down a shot at a title, how did he end up with the champion's belt? Why would Canelo Alvarez vacate the belt if the mandatory turned down the fight? How does that make any logical sense, guys? Have you ever heard of a mandatory giving up the right to fight for a title and they just say, you know what, since you don't want to fight, we're just going to go ahead and just hand you the belt anyway? Have you ever heard of something that damn ridiculous? Of course not, right? These are the actual facts. We don't have to go off of what Oscar De La Hoya said. The truth train was already moving. He just happened to jump on that train as it was passing him by. This is the reason why Canelo Alvarez did not say, "What are you talking about, Oscar? I wanted to fight Charlo." All he says is, "Go fuck yourself. You're a traitor. You're a snitch, Oscar. Why are you gonna rat me out like that? Why are you gonna let all the boxing fans know that I was ducking Charlo?" That's what Canelo Alvarez is saying. But let's just go, just for argument's sake, let's say you really believe that Charlo, the mandatory, turned down the Canelo Alvarez fight. Remember this, guys. Sergey Kovalev, he turned down the Canelo Alvarez fight. Billy Joe Saunders turned down a Canelo Alvarez fight before they fought. Caleb Smith turned down a Canelo Alvarez fight before they fought. Why did they end up still getting a fight with Canelo? You know why? Because Canelo would not take no for an answer. He knew those fights against those European fighters was too easy, and he was willing to do whatever it takes to make those fights, give them whatever demand, whatever money that they wanted, right? He was willing to do it. And he's doing the same thing right now with Caleb Plant. Caleb is another fighter who turned down the Canelo fight. I believe he turned down the fight twice already. And look at Canelo, still trying to get him in the ring, still trying to oblige Caleb Plant and give him whatever he wants. We know what time it is. You could go further than that though, because now Canelo Alvarez is no longer with Oscar De La Hoya. He's no longer with DAZN. He's a free agent. Charlo just called him out again. He said, "I'm willing to fight him next at 168. So Canelo fans, do you want to see the fight now? What's the excuse now? Charlo is calling him out right now. What is Canelo's excuse right now? You can't use the Oscar De La Hoya sent him an offer excuse anymore. There are no more excuses. Once Canelo gets past Caleb Plant, there will be no more excuses for Canelo Alvarez to turn down a Charlo fight. Oscar De La Hoya, he's been saying indirect things about Canelo for the longest. When they were working together, obviously Oscar De La Hoya couldn't say that about his biggest cash cow, especially as emotional as Canelo Alvarez is. Obviously, he's not going to tell the boxing world, "Well, you know, my fighter Canelo, he keeps avoiding Charlo and I don't know what to do with him. He doesn't want to fight Charlo. He doesn't want to fight Andrade." He couldn't say that. So, I mean, it obviously makes more sense now that the strings are no longer attached. Now he can tell you guys how he really feels, and this is exactly what I told you guys. I told you guys there's going to come a time eventually. I don't know how long it's going to take, but there's going to come a time where Oscar De La Hoya is going to come out and speak the truth, and I can't wait to hear exactly what he has to say. And this is what he said. Oh yeah, he avoids Charlo. Like I said, guys, once again, it don't matter if you talk about someone saying that Charlo turned down a fight. We have to go off of the actual facts. Let me say it again. Canelo Alvarez, the champion, Charlo was his mandatory for almost 2 years. The WBC kept promising Jermall Charlo, you're going to get a shot next. You're going to get a shot next. He would tell Jermall, after this next fight, you're going to get your Canelo shot. Jermall would win that fight, and then the WBC president, he would say it again. Okay, after your next fight, you're going to get a Canelo shot. So there was a lot of pressure on the WBC and Canelo to give Jermall Charlo what he had actually worked for, a shot at the title. This is when they could no longer push him to the side while keeping the belt. So this is when Canelo Alvarez decided to surrender his belt to avoid Jermall Charlo. You fans, you keep telling us that Canelo Alvarez is such a better fighter since he lost to Floyd Mayweather. If Canelo Alvarez was truly a better fighter, and he truly believed that, why wouldn't he go after the most athletic black boxers? Because the guy he lost to, after all, was a black athletic boxer. The way you show people that you've gotten so much better is you get in the ring with another undefeated athletic black boxer like Jermall Charlo, like Demetrius Andrade. How are you going to keep telling people that you're better, but you're only going after European fighters that aren't even the best European fighters? He said he got better. He told us that when he fought Billy Joe Saunders, he said, that was 7 years ago, basically when he struggled against Lara. That's what he was talking about. He said, I'm a much better fighter now. Man, Billy Joe Saunders probably did a better job outboxing Canelo than Lara did. Canelo may have gotten more confident, but he hasn't gotten better. And that's the reason why Oscar De La Hoya pointed out his flaws. At age 30, I'll close out with saying this. Everything that Oscar De La Hoya said about Canelo has already been confirmed, right? And the fact that once again, Canelo Alvarez didn't even deny the fact that he's avoiding Charlo, that tells the whole story. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Hello, my name is Dominic. I just got my procedure done here at ScalpCarolinas. I was recommended by Dontaesboxingnation, and it's real. Here's the results. The brother out here, Brother Enoch, is real, and it's a very, very, very good recommendation. I recommend it. 4 hours, you in, you out, and it's the rest of your life.
So if anyone in the world wants this hookup, make sure you contact my man Anak at 704-499-3471 and make sure to follow him on Instagram. Now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo de Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodekey.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.